Hey guys, and welcome back to another AFL video. This time I'll be tipping round 6 of the AFL, which kicks off tonight at the SCG between the Cats and the Lions. I was reading a crazy stat before that I think it's the first time since 1952 that no team has played at their home ground, which is just crazy. Really shows the sort of times that we're in. Obviously, all of the Victorian teams have been moved into hubs. As you can see there, there's just disarray everywhere. Now, I do actually think that Fremantle are probably the only team that are playing at their home-ish ground this week. They've been up in the hub all year at the moment. I think they go back next week, so that will be very interesting. Right, so we'll get into the 7:40 game. One change for the Cats, and I'm very annoyed at this from a Supercoach point of view. Jack Stephen is out for Sam Simpson. Now, Jack Stephen is in my squad, but I traded out Sam Simpson this week, so that's what do I do with that? I used both my trades already because I had to get Devon Smith. I didn't want, so I got rid of him, and then I got rid of Sam Simpson for this Adelaide bloke who could replace Rowell. I think it was McHenry or something. Chances are he'll be out, knowing my luck. So yeah, look, we'll get into the tips now. Geelong and Brisbane. Now I'm going to tip. Oh, it's tough. I'm going to tip Geelong. I don't think you can go against them. I'm going to tip them by a goal. The Lions have been playing really, really well, but because of the fact that it's not at the Gabba or at Metricon, I'm going to tip the Cats. It's a very neutral ground. Geelong obviously have some issues with, Stephen's out, but that's a dropping. That's a managed, not an injury. Gary Ablett's not 100% at the moment. I'm going to tip the Cats. I've got to be bold. My tipping's gone terribly this year. I'm going to die on my sword. I'm going to live to be a hero. So I'm going to tip the Cats in that one. Friday night game, one I'm very intrigued in. I'm going to go the Pies. I think they're due to bounce back. Obviously had a very disappointing showing against the Bombers on Saturday night. They've had a terrible week in the media, so I am going to tip them. I think they're going to bounce back against the Hawks. They did not play very well against the Giants at all. Right, next, St Kilda and Fremantle at Metricon in a very weird time slot of 12:35. I'm going to tip the Saints. They're my home team. I've got to. If I don't, I'm the biggest fraud ever. I think Jones will come in for Hanbury, sort of a like for like there, so that's pretty good. If Fife doesn't come in, it does make it very difficult for the Dockers, but I think he'll probably get up as well for this one, Fifey, so that'll make it very interesting in the midfield. But yeah, I think that we'll win, hopefully by a few goals. We've got a very good opportunity to go 5-2 with 16th and 18th in respective weeks. So yeah, I think that's going to be really, really interesting, and hopefully we can get the job done. But there'll be a full preview coming on it tomorrow. The 3:05 game, I'm going to go West Coast at the Gabba. They played, there's the form guide, there you go. It's pretty, 4 of the last 5 to the Eagles there. Yeah, they played well last week. I thought that they were due, so I tipped them last week, and I thought they played quite well. Very shaky to half-time, but yeah, they come out and showed their colours afterwards, which was good for them. Another weird time slot here, 6:05 at Giants Stadium. I tell you what, they are all over the place. I think that's because they're trying to cram games starting in a couple of weeks, and that would make a lot of sense. Melbourne and Gold Coast at Giants Stadium. Melbourne are the betting favourites, which is a bit odd. They didn't play that well last week. Who'd they play? Richmond. They come back like a house on fire, but they didn't. Gold Coast played terribly as well. That's a really tough one. Gold Coast played absolutely awful. Rowell's injured. I tipped Melbourne last week, and I'm going to tip them again. I think that they might pull one out of the bag. They are due as well. I think they are. They played well against the Cats. Well, in a terrible game. They played all right. Lost by a point or a couple of points. And then against the Tigers, they come back really well, but still lost. Yeah, I reckon they'll win. I think they're due. Metricon now. I thought I was going to say Marvel. Who have we got? Not the Tigers. The Bombers and the Roos. I think that's pretty easy. Not just because the Bombers had a good win last week, but North are the walking wounded. Cunnington's hurt. Higgins is hurt. I don't think they had anybody on the bench in the last quarter that was fresh. So that hurts. They got belted as well. So, yeah, I think that the Bombers get the job done there pretty easily. And with the game in hand, they are a bit of a dark horse. Obviously, it's a weird season and the fixturing's been a bit weird and, you know, they've played at home the majority of the time. But so have St Kilda and so have Gold Coast and whatever. So, yeah, I think that the Bombers are a real dark horse in this competition. I think if they can use that extra game wisely, if they win that extra game, or the game in hand, it's not an extra game, but if they win that game in hand, whenever that may be against Melbourne, that's a bogey almost. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. On to the Sunday games now, Port and the Giants. Oh, it's a tough one as well. Port come off a massive loss last week. That was hard to watch. Not just for the fact they kicked 2 goals, 7 to half-time and got belted, but it wasn't good. Brisbane did really, really well. They're probably the team to beat at the moment, to the Lions. And the Giants played well against the Hawks. So, I'm going to tip Port. I think Metricon works in their favour. They've played up there a lot as of late. I think that they'll bounce back. That was, you know, every team is going to lose a game, aren't they? So, yeah, I think that was their game to lose. I think they bounce back this week, though, against the Giants. Right, Richmond and Sydney. This is, again, a tough one. 3:35 at the Gabba. Sydney got belted last week, but have looked good in the past. Richmond lost a fair few players. Obviously, Hooley and Edwards haven't gone up to the hub with various personal reasons. Lynch potentially out. Cochin, Prestia. Oh, that's tough. I think that they still get it done though. Sydney are a stupidly young team for their standards, so I don't think that they can hold up. Especially old Chol played well last week. Martin played alright. Rewalt took a while, but he played alright. Yeah, they've got enough there to cover, I think, and their backline's really good as well. So I'm going to tip the Tigers in the afternoon game there. Now the 6:45 game at Metricon. They're just so weird, these time slots. The Carlton Blues and the Western Bullfrogs. Oh, it's another tough one. Now, both teams, what happened to the Blues last week? They get rolled? They did. We beat them. They didn't look too bad, really. It was a stalemate after half-time. For me, I'm going to tip the Dogs. I'd like the Blues to win, but I'm going to tip the Dogs. I'm going to submit them there as well. If the Dogs get off to a fast start, for me, that all depends on the start. If the Dogs can cuff them at the start and blow them out of the water, they win the game, hands down. But if the Blues can run with them to three-quarter time, I think the Blues run over the top. They're a very fast finishing side. They're a great finishing side as well. They took us to the cleaners. They took Melbourne to the cleaners. Essendon was, but they ran with them and they held them off at the end. Who else they play? Richmond, they finished really fast as well. So I think that we could be in for a bit of an upset there. I might change that during the week. I'll see what the teams are first. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, there are my tips. If you enjoyed, please give us a like and a subscribe down below. Enjoy the footy tonight. Enjoy the footy all weekend. St Kilda preview coming tomorrow. Go and check out my AFL stories as well. I put out a pretty cool one yesterday about the Doggies and how they could have changed the competition in 2009. So go and give that a watch. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheerio, sayonara, and goodbye.